We're ready. Welcome back to this month's monthly update. So, got a bit of activity in the yard this morning. What are we? We are Monday, the 29th of June, 9:30. We've got a truck in loading up for the pallet repair project. So this is going to be loaded up today. Ash is following it up tomorrow, and we've got the electrician there on Wednesday. So hopefully this week we should get that running. So we're just putting these bits and pieces on here, but me and Archie and George have just had a look at something that we're going to make better on the next one. So what we did on these ones, you've obviously got the screw thread at the back, and when it's lifting, because we've got the pallet on one side, we've got the rollers, and then we've put the screw thread just outside the rollers. As it's lifting up, it's trying to do that in effect. It's not a problem, but we think we can make it better on the next one. So on the next one, what we're going to do is we're going to bring the screw thread. If you just bring I've got Arch on the camera today, so the screw thread that we've got in here, where it is there, and the rollers are in here, we're going to bring this screw thread up higher, because at the minute the leverage is working against us. As I say, it's not a problem. We've fully loaded it up and we've got a load of pallets on there. It's not a problem. So we're just going to change that for the next one. The next ones are going to be different to this because of the way that, excuse me, if you're a regular viewer of the channel and that, you'll know that this pallet repair station, we've already covered it in previous episodes, but we've actually got 3 to build. This is the first one, and when we're done, the 3 will all stand in a row. So these 2 units here at the minute are going to go either side of the pallet repair station, but when we get all 3 in a row and that, these 2 units are going to go right at the ends, and then we're going to have some double ones, so some back-to-back ones that will be between first and second and second and third. So the next ones will be different, but so we are going to make some more of these, so we just need to work out the best way to do it. Okay, so another job that's come in this month is a loading shovel. Got some footage that we'll show you in a minute. We'll just talk you through what we're doing. So this has come into us, all the pins and bushes on the front have worn. So the lads have took the bucket off. They've even took the arm off the front of the loading shovel as well, because the bushes are all worn on that as well. So it's easy just to take it all off and just do everything together. So there's a load of pins and bushes coming. Some of these pins are actually quite worn if you look down here. Some of the pins we can probably reuse, but you can see where it's picked up on some of them and it's actually worn. So what we'll do is we'll replace those, and we have got some footage of Harry working on that in the yard.
So we've got a Doosan DL280 in the back of the yard at the minute. We've got Ash and Harry working on it so far. We've got tipper bucket taken off. That's these pins here, or some of these pins. Some of these bushes are knackered. The seals and bushes need replacing. Some of them are fine. Up here we've got those bushes again are gone, and then right at the top there you've got a pin walking because that bush up there, I can zoom in, is cracked. I don't know if you can see that very well. But yeah, so this is in for a bit of a full front end strip down, rebuild, replace bushes and pins as necessary. We've got the step here which has been battered. We've got to take this apart, make some new brackets for it, make some new steps, straighten all that back out so it sits back up there nicely, it's not going to get in the way. And I think the other big thing is getting the stuck end of a bolt out of this extra counterweight, which will be interesting, but all stuff that we can do. We've got Harry on this week, getting it done. So this is the current state of the front loader. We've got the whole front section off. Harry's got them in the workshop over there behind his van. So yeah, this whole front section's taken off for now. We've got a bush to weld on there. That's cracked and failed and cracked. So I'm going to clean that up, and then there is some other welding to do on here. We're going to weld on some lugs either side of the teardrop part of the pins, so around either side like that, to stop the pin going from side to side.
So sight bank, haven't covered them for a little while. We've got 2 that are going out this week. This one's going on a month's trial with a customer. They're having it for a month, see how they get on with it, and then hopefully they're either going to buy it or hire it after that. And then one that we built for a customer months ago. Customer ordered it months ago and paid for it, and that he's coming this week to pick that up. We've got different bits and pieces going on here. This is going
Proland.
That's part of the pallet repair system, isn't it? That is, and as well as these parts here. So that's all getting loaded up on that lorry now. We'll come to that in a minute, Arch. Tell people about that new project there that's happened this month. We've got some more bits and pieces going on, mini screens. That's part of that project. So, you can use your imagination for a minute. That's the bottom part. And that bit there is the top part. That bit obviously sits on top of there. I'll explain more in a minute on that one. The loading shovel's buried at the minute because we're having to move stuff around because we're loading that lorry. I think we've got the go-ahead to repair that baler there. The green baler that sits in the way over there, that one as well, is also been quoted for. We're just waiting for the go-ahead on that. So if you've seen the videos the last few months, we've had lots of different components for mini screens, but the lads have actually come all together this month. So when we've got here 10 here, I think there's another 2 down there.
Right? 3 ready to, there's 3 more, 2, 4, 6, there's 1 there and 3 more ready to put together.
Okay, so we've got good stock levels of mini screens at this moment in time. We've got a machine going to a new dealer in the southwest of the UK. They're going to have a machine and they're going to use that to demo to their customers in that area. So that's quite exciting. If there's anybody watching this that's a dealer for anywhere else in the country, or even throughout Europe or the rest of the world, that we would be interested in talking to you, because we are looking at different options for dealerships. So if that's something that you find interesting, you think that you've got a good customer base for these machines, we'd be interested to talk to you. Right, what else have we got going on up here? Are we recording now, Archie?
Yeah.
Right, we're having to do this again because I was just done this bit, but Archie wasn't recording, so we're just doing this bit again. So this is a diesel tank. It's going to go inside the bit that I just showed you outside, the top and the bottom outside. This is actually going to sit inside. It's a 2,500 litre diesel tank. So this is going to sit inside the bottom bit. We've got a fill vent, we've got a level gauge to go in here. The fuel's going to come out of the tank through a filter and into a hand pump, which is what the customer wanted, because that's what they've got on all their other tanks, which then goes off to a fuel hose that sits in a cassette in the bunds down here, so you can pull the fuel hose out, fuel the machine up, put it away. There's also going to be a quick release coupling in here, because some of the customers' machines have got an onboard fuel tank. So what they'll do is they'll turn up, pull the pipe out, connect into the quick release coupling, switch the pump on, fill the machine up, job done. Now this is obviously going to sit inside the bottom bit, which I'll show you in a minute, but this has been built with the customer's ideas. It's been like a collaboration between us and the customer, to be honest. They've got something like 300 fuel bowsers across all of their sites, and some of them are getting to an age now where they want to do a rolling replacement on them. So between them and us, we've come up with this design. We've focused on the security of it, which I'll talk you through in a minute when we show you the other bits. But hopefully the next monthly catch up on that, you should be able to see this all put together. So what I'll do is I'll show you the bits and pieces outside now and tell you how it's all going to go together. So I'll just show you some of the features that we've put into this, because on the face of it, it looks like a fairly normal diesel tank. But we've actually done some bits and pieces to this that are specific to the customer's sort of requirements. So obviously this is the bottom bit, and the tank that I've just showed you in there is actually going to sit in here with the hand pump just here. Now, the hose will come off the top, it will go through that hose there, and the fuel hose will go into that side cassette there and come out here, and then the fuel gun will be here. So when you're finished, you'll feed the hose back in there, straight on there with that. One of the things that this customer has problems with is when they do have theft, because they're all steel tanks, how do you properly repair a steel tank when it's still got fuel in it? So if you remember on the tank outside, we've actually got quite a big square in the top. So in the future, now bearing in mind that they've had some of their tanks for like the best part of 20 years, there's going to be a build-up of dirt in there. So we've put a big hatch in the top, so if they need to ever clean it out inside, they can do. If ever that tank gets damaged and needs repairing, you can take the top off, suck all the diesel out, wash it all out, and actually get inside and repair it, which if you've got a plastic tank or one that you can't get into, you cannot do. The top for this is that piece there, which I'll show you in a minute. That bolts on the top, it's secured to the top with shear bolts, so if ever you do have any damage whatsoever, you can unbolt the top. If you want to get the tank out, you can actually get the tank out of it. So it's actually been designed to be repaired in the future. That was the plan. Now let me show you the locking mechanism that makes this secure. But before I do that, let me explain that because you've got a double skin here, if anybody wants to cut in there, they can't. The actual tank itself is 200mm inside the outside skin. So anybody with a drill needs quite a long drill bit, and all you end up doing is filling the bund. You won't actually get the diesel out. It's the same above as well. The actual distance between the tank and the actual bund is a good distance. So you've actually got to, if you wanted to drill it like you would, that we've seen on other tanks, you need quite a long drill bit, and even then you just wouldn't get it out. So let me show you the top.
Yep.
Okay. So the top bit, as I say, this bolts on top of the bottom bit with shear bolts, and this is the access door. Now the access door, it slides up into position. Because we know that if anybody tries to break into this, the bit they're going to damage is the locking mechanism at the top. We've actually made the locking mechanism at the top a bolt-on piece. So if anybody does have a proper go at getting into it and they proper muller it, you can actually get in there and actually replace it on the bolts inside, and the bolts are hidden when that's up in position. We're using container locks, 2 of them, so it's doubly secure, 2 container locks, so that if anybody does try and break in, they've got to get through 2 locks. And we're using container locks because they're easily readily available. If you want a building site, you've probably got shipping containers or whatever to store stuff in. So you're going to have, probably some spare stops there, padlocks as well. So there's a lot of different little features, subtle features that have gone into this that make it a bit different to anybody else. We've tried to future-proof it, design it so it can be repaired in the future, make it ultra secure now, and so that if it needs cleaning out in the future and that, we can get in there to do it. So yeah, new product. It's the first one we're doing for this customer. Hopefully they'll like it and they'll order loads more, and also some other people might like it as well. So that's why I've sort of spent a bit of time explaining this, because I do think that this would appeal to others. Yes, there's other fuel tanks out there on the market, bunded Bowsers and that sort of stuff are on site, but I don't think there's many out there that have got this level of security or thought gone into it to know how to repair it in the future. So we'll let you know how we go on this one next month. So the workshop have had a new attachment for the forklift, so we've bought a lifting jib for the forklift, because lifting things around on forks with straps is not the ideal thing to do. So we've actually invested in this lifting jib. What will this lift up? Is this
4 ton, 4.25.
4.25, because at some point I am going to buy a bigger forklift. So I've tried to future-proof myself so we can use this on the bigger forklift. So it's an extending jib, and it's just, you've got different points underneath that arch,
yeah,
or you can extend it out at the end. So yeah, hopefully that'll make lifting things around the yard a little bit safer. All the loading shovel is in here. This is just been took off the machine, so in the next episode we'll show you the removing of the bushes and the fitting the bushes and all that sort of stuff. So that will be next week's episode. And one of the jobs that we do on a semi-regular basis is for one of our local dealer customers. This is a job that we've probably done for about 5 years, 5 or 6 years now, probably even longer than that. Kubota U27 diggers. They don't come with a standard space to put a radio in it. So we do what we call a radio pod, so it's 2 parts. These 2 different parts here, we cut them, we fold them, we put them together, and this is what we end up with. So these two parts get folded and we end up with these two parts. They actually bolt together. So we put riv nuts in these two holes here and these two holes here. And that basically bolts to the back of the cab. And then you put this front piece on and that's what the radio sits in. So we do two different sorts. We do them for the U27s and also the KX27s, two Kubotas. So it's just one of the things that we do here. It looks like something we've done for years. If anybody else out there has got something similar that they want doing, hit us up. This is another little job that's just come into us end of this month. It's a top hitch off of a tilting bucket. Got these two rams here. It's all been ripped out in there. So I've been talking to Archie about it. I'm going to get rid of these two plates, cut two new ones, tidy it all up, reuse this big boss here, and basically replace these. So Archie is going to get some footage of that, and that will also appear in next month's, won't it, Arch?
Yeah.
Yeah, Archie's on it. He's on it. Now, the last couple of months, work has not been as busy as I would like, or has certainly been in previous years. And talking to other people, they're all saying the same. But although we've had a quiet couple of months on the sales front, we have been busy in the workshop trying to get ahead of things. That's why we've got so many mini screens being built together and put together. But as we stand now in that, we've got 3 big projects that I am quite hopeful are going to come off. And hopefully in next month's update, I should be able to tell you all about them. Andrew's just come out and said one of them, they've asked if I can pop over to their place just to give them one final talk through the project. And they're going to press the button on that. So that is good news. So that's a job that's coming in. That is a feeder hopper for feeding incinerated bottom ash into a recycling plant. So that is pretty good. So fingers crossed on that one, and we should then get another 2 big projects hopefully this month, but I'll tell you more about that next month. Now, last month we covered the old folks home that we boarded the windows up, did the Cytex on, and quite a few people in the comment were agreeing with me about how it was a waste to have such a facility like that just sat there doing nothing. Now, I've spoke to somebody about this since we did that video, and I've got a little bit of an update for you. Apparently that old folks home has been shut 3 years because it no longer suited the purpose of what it was originally designed and built for. Now, believe it or not, that huge building only ever had 28 bedrooms in it. It was built as a single-storey building, where nowadays they have multiple levels. So you've got the same footprint on the ground, but you actually go up so you get more people in it. And also, apparently the rooms were, although they've got like a toilet facility in the rooms, they weren't truly en suite, as they say nowadays, with a lot of communal areas. And apparently the care market these days goes towards more miniature flats as opposed to a room with a toilet in it. So yeah, there is some reasons behind that, and apparently it was offered to different council departments, but nobody wanted to take it on. So a little bit of an update on that last month. Nothing to do with engineering, but a lot of people were commenting in the comments about that there. So I thought I'd just bring you up to speed. So that is it for this episode. Since I've filmed this literally this morning, this is in the afternoon. The bit that you've seen already, that was this morning. I've been out this afternoon, come back with an order for a feeder hopper. So that will be started to be being built in the workshop next month. I'll show you that next month. And as I say, we've got 3 projects on the go at the minute that we are wondering whether we're going to get or not. That feeder hopper was one of them. So hopefully by the time you see the next video, fingers crossed, we may have been successful on the other 2. Catch you in the next one.